Welcome to the Family Journey Show, brought to you by Finally Home. Each month, we'll be live with conversations between our Finally Home team and leading experts. Our mission is to provide you with the insights, strategies, and encouragement you need to navigate the unique challenges and joys of your family journey. Whether you're a foster parent, an adoptive caregiver, or a kinship guardian, this show is designed with you in mind. We'll be diving deep into topics that matter most to you, from managing big emotions and building strong family bonds to accessing mental health resources and advocating for your children's needs. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's embark on this journey together. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Welcome to the Family Journey Show, where support, community, and resilience grow strong roots. Welcome to Finally Home's Holiday Family Journey Show, where we talk about things that are important to foster, adopt, and kinship families. Hi, my name is Linda Motter, and I'm the Family Support Director. Today, I have the privilege of introducing our special guest, Chris and Liz Brodzinski. Finally Home has had the privilege of serving and walking alongside this family for many years, and Chris and Liz have served other families through Finally Home in various capacities, like organizing and directing our annual family conference. I'm excited because they are also precious, precious friends of mine, and I have loved watching them build and raise their family. So let's start, Liz and Chris, with you telling us a little bit about your family.
Linda, we're really excited to be here. Thank you for this chance to get to talk on the Family Journey Show. Our family became a foster family back in 2016. We had a biological son, 3 years old, and we decided I say we decided, but really God led us in a million different ways to start the fostering process. And so we became a foster family in 2016. And our first placement was with a little 7-month-old boy and his 3-year-old half biological sibling. And they came and joined our family in October of that year. And 3 years later, we had the opportunity to adopt them. So our family became a family of 5, and we knew that we weren't done supporting foster and adoptive families, but didn't quite know what our journey would look like. So like you mentioned, we stepped into a role of supporting other families for a while. And then just this year, our family decided to get licensed again as a foster family, and we welcomed in an 18-year-old into our home just this last month. So we're now a family of 6.
Wow, what a journey, and it's exciting that it's still going on. You told us the short version. I know, like so many of the families listening today, that those years that started in 2016 until now are full of all kinds of ups and downs and stresses and heartbreaks. How amazing, though, that you also just expanded your family so recently and just in time for Christmas, which happens to be our topic for today, family holiday traditions. At first glance, the topic is pretty general to all families, but for families like yours and many of our listeners, there are some special circumstances that can make the establishment of traditions important, but also complicated. So let's start with the first part. Why are traditions, specifically holiday traditions, important?
Linda, I always had a magical Hallmark family, kind of Christmas with my mom and my grandma, both belonging to the Hallmark Club, so getting that special ornament every year. We just made it so magical. Growing up, we put the tree up, we put the ornaments up, and we just made it all just kind of centered around Christmas, just how magical it was.
Oh my gosh, Chris, I spend a lot of hours in the holiday season trying to find my Hallmark magic. So how exciting for you that you had Hallmark magic. Liz, was it the same for you?
Christmases growing up were less than Hallmarky, not quite Christmas Vacation, but a little less Hallmarky. And so when we established as a family, when Chris and I first met even, it was connecting with his mom and his family that made me realize there was a lot of magic in Christmas, a lot of special moments. And then as we established our own family, and especially as we welcomed in kids from hard places, we had the opportunity to really rewrite what Christmas was for us. And as we've grown in our faith and grown in our relationship, and our family has grown, that's taken on a lot of deeper meaning and a lot more value. And it is one of my favorite holidays now.
Beautifully said, Liz. Thank you for that. In Finally Homes program, we teach that establishing routines and shared traditions are one of the ways that we help kids feel like they belong. And we know that a sense of belonging is a key piece of healing and development. So we believe that it's important. And as we mentioned, it can be complicated. So now in your experience, what makes the holidays and our desire to want beautiful traditions and great memories kind of complicated in the holiday season?
Well, I think it's really hard for our kids that come from poor places. There's a lot of complexity to their background. There's a lot of broken relationship. And so coming into the holiday season, there's just a lot of things that tweak those or trigger those things. A lot of family time, a lot of busyness, a lot of sugar, a lot of stimulation. And so it can just be a really triggering holiday for any of us, but it can also be extra hard for our kids that have come from these places. So when we establish some family traditions, that really helps ground our kids with knowing what to expect,
Mm.
what our family values are, and for us to give a place for them to be heard and to kind of come back to keeping it um, simple, keeping it what really the holiday is about.
I think Liz is really good at recognizing triggers. When I growing up was just so magical, I just wanted to recreate that every single day for our kids. And from our kids that come from a background of trauma or triggers that have, it really stimulates them. And so I continue to push, and I don't always see those triggers. And Liz is really good at identifying those and making sure the kids are pulled aside, and that we take a pause, or we meet their needs and find their needs, and we work through those. And that's not always my go-to. And so I really look to Liz, and a lot of times that she gives me a shoulder tap and says, hey, we either need to move on, or we need to wrap up, and we need to get home and bring the kids back to grounding. And so that's one thing that I constantly am working on, and trying to recognize those traumas and triggers from our kids, and even us, when we are molding our core, six of us. Sometimes it's just really hard to. All of us are differently triggered by different things, and so just really understanding who each one of us are, and individually what we need in those moments.
Chris is really gracious, but I think that's what makes us a really great team is that I do tune into some of the things that are triggering our kids or some of the hard things. But Chris keeps it really fun. And so I can sit in a place of let's make sure we're getting all the feelings and let's make sure we get everyone heard and let's make sure everyone feels good. Chris can just have the ability to just move on and make things fun and light. And so honestly, we're really a great team in that too. And so I really appreciate you saying that. And during the holidays, the two phrases that have been wonderfully supported into our family and we've adopted are two finally home phrases, but that is parents stay in charge and kind authority. And those are two things that have really resonated, especially this season, although they've been familiar themes for a couple of years in our family now. But when we can help set the boundaries for our kids, then there's a lot of freedom for our kids in the holiday season where we can say, this is how long we're staying at this party. You have earned the right to be in charge of your own sugar intake or your own sugar snacks. We want to empower you with those skills. Keep in mind that you don't feel good when you do this, or keep in mind that you have to get up early tomorrow, or we help set some boundaries, but here's your chance. Today's the day you're in charge of your snacks. You go for it. Um, and that helps us stay in charge, but helps give them the freedom that they need. And then the other finally home phrase that we use often is that kind authority. And for me growing up, it was a lot of authority, a lot of controlling authority. And when I get stressed, that's where I can flex for sure. So I have to remember that parents can stay in charge and have authority, but not controlling authority. That we get to do that with kindness and with respect to our kids and with respect to the other adults in the home. And that's been a huge game changer for us too, just recognizing both are good. Authority is good in both ways, but there's a big difference between kind authority and controlling authority.
Mm. So many amazing gems in what you guys just shared there. And like, I mean, it basically says this parenting thing, it's hard. It's a really big job. And like Chris pointed out, man, it requires learning and humility and practicing our skills constantly all along the way. But I am so encouraged to hear you say that you appreciated that concept of kind authority. We actually highlighted that in a previous Family Journey Show episode. So those of you that haven't seen that, we encourage you to go back and look at that because it is so powerful. And Liz, you just did a great summary of it and sharing an example of that. Sometimes we think, though, that we do have to choose, don't we? We think we either have to be, oh, so nice, and we're helping them regulate, or we're just connecting. And then we have to like totally flip, or we have to be authoritative or authoritarian, when really we can be authoritative, which is that loving, kind authority. So I loved that you brought that in. Parenting is the ultimate blending of kindness and leadership that says to kids, hey, don't worry, I've got this, but your turn to be boss will come later. Okay, so Chris, what was your favorite holiday growing up?
I think my favorite Christmas memory is focused around setting the trees up, making sure the ornaments are on the trees, and just that whole magical time of the spirit of Christmas. Growing up was awesome.
And Liz, how about you?
Like I mentioned earlier, Christmas was just kind of hard, and there just wasn't a lot that I enjoyed about it. For me, Thanksgiving was actually my favorite holiday for all the reasons that people usually like Christmas. I like the family time, I like the food, I like the relaxing, but somewhere in there, the presents kind of got me all stressed out somewhere along the line. And so now, as an adult, coming back with a fresh perspective, I do like all those pieces that I like from Thanksgiving. I like the food, I like the family time, I love setting up the tree together. And it isn't just like we set up the tree. I think I've done that in certain seasons. I'll just get it done. But Chris has really helped establish a family tradition of we do this as a family. And as we're unpacking the ornaments, we're going, oh, remember when? And we're singing this story, or remember that person that's now passed away, and we put their ornament on the tree in honor of them. And we get to have this fun dialogue. And then again, with empowering our kids to have their own choices, Chris's family was super big about having a tree in every room, which is a little much for me, but we found such a great place for it. So each kid has a tree in their room. And this year, Chris was like, we used to have certain places for every ornament, but this year it was like, let's go ahead and just you pick out the ornament that's special to you this year. What makes your tree who you are in 2024? And so the kids picked out different things to decorate their own trees. And with our newest daughter in our home, she got her tree, and that was the first time she's been able to set up ornaments. And so she picked out things that were special to her. And each kid's tree is so different, and that was special and fun to get to know them in their own unique ways.
Wow, I love so much of that. I love how you talked about like what was important to both of you and how you've blended that, how you've been able to bring that into even through maybe some hard times, to be able to sit back as now adults and you're forming this family and to say, okay, what do we want to happen here? And so you created some traditions, and then, but still willing to, this year, you bring in a new person into your family, and you're willing to step back and kind of sift through your traditions. And all of a sudden, here comes this whole new, beautiful new idea. Holding true to the base of your tradition of all the trees and the importance, and slowing down and enjoying that process, and ornaments that mean something. But man, giving up that control and to be like, kids, pick what you want. I love that. I have yet to do that. I have all the trees that I need to, I like this idea to give up some control and let my kids choose what's meaningful to them. Because wow, what a secret like lens into each of their hearts in this season, to see what do they pick, what do they want on their tree. What a beautiful, thank you for all of that. I loved it all.
I think it's the really amazing thing too, is that it's a gift back to us, Linda, when we get to release that control, because we want it to look really beautiful. We want it to look a certain way. But I have found how awesome I feel when I release that and I go, oh, well, you did it a different way than I would, but it looks better, or I feel better, or it was more fun. And I found that I've actually really enjoyed my kids growing up and having more of their own opinions and control. And it's been a gift back to me, which I didn't see coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I love all that. It's kind of like when the kids were younger and I had a hard time at first giving up what a ideal Christmas cookie looks like and allowing them to just go for it and do whatever. I love that you tied in that feeling of joy it brings you to actually just step into the wonderment of a kid's world and enjoy holidays in their way and through their eyes. Okay, so we've discussed your history, some of the unique needs of your families. What do you want this season to be all about?
Well, the tradition has always been in my family is all about focus about gift giving and the magical of it. But we really bring it back, when we started our own traditions, we really brought it back to the focus around Jesus and what this Christmas is really about.
Yeah. Um, Even though I think it's tempting to want to do all the things, and as a foster and adoptive family, there's a lot of great organizations in our community and a lot of amazing people that love to love on our family, and we appreciate it. But it can be a lot between work parties and church parties and then extra foster and adopt parties and school parties. And there's so many things that we get invited to. And truth be told, Chris and I are both really extroverted. And so it's tempting for us to say yes to all the things because we actually enjoy it for the most part. But one of our kiddos, he's a great reminder to us. It does not work well for him. He is extremely overwhelmed by all sensory things, loud noises, lights, lots of people, even smells that are different, transitions, different people's homes, or lots of different things. All these things are really overwhelming to him. And so he's been a loud reminder in our family to remember to slow down. And actually, again, it's been one of those beautiful gifts that I didn't even realize would be a gift back to me. Is that slowing down, I realized I didn't like it as much as I thought I did. I didn't like being so busy. But it's been a great opportunity to go, you know what, less is more. And so we in this season, again, it's been this great opportunity to go, it's not about all the things, all the can point to love and connection in our relationship with Jesus. And it can be an opportunity to do those things, but it wasn't always for us. And so it's been a chance for us to minimize and really do a check. Is this pointing our hearts back to celebrating the true gift of Christmas? And that is receiving Jesus as our Lord and Savior. Does that point back to it? If yes, let's do it. If not, let's reconsider and talk about what our purpose is here. And sometimes we still do it, but we change our perspective. It's not about having the best family costume to win the prize for the party, but rather it's about connecting with the people that we love and appreciate there. And so it's changed our perspective for sure.
Well, Linda, we're also in a unique time of the season where we have a brand new kiddo in our home. We are adapting, we're learning what they have to offer to our family and or to those parties. And so we are uniquely changing at all times, adapting, inventing, you know, listening to a whole nother, trigger and trauma or a whole new, diversity of our family. And so this is constantly something that we have to be aware of. And so this is brand new to us this month.
I love that. I have to ask you guys, I kind of want to go back. You both mentioned this piece of wanting to make sure that this season is about Jesus. How do you do that? Can you give us any practical ideas of how do you as a faith-based family keep the focus on Jesus during the Christmas season?
Yeah, for sure. Um, this is one of those seasons that our family does most mornings as the kids are getting ready for school and as we're having breakfast, that I pull out a little worship, just something, a Jesus calling for kids or a little devotion, and we turn our hearts back to God. That's something we try to do on a regular rhythm. This time of year, it gets crazy. And that's one of the things that we tend to drop. And so coming back to creating space for worship, creating space to just pause, turn our hearts back to gratitude, remembering others that aren't in the same position as us, friends in our community, friends around the world that may not have the same experience around the holidays as we do. We spend time in prayer thinking of those individuals. And then on the actual day of Christmas, actually, Linda, one of my favorite family tradition, one of I think our whole family's favorite traditions is something that you introduced us to. So it's the white stocking. This is actually the one that you gave us. It's the same little white stocking, but when Linda described this to us, she read this little poem, and it's just about remembering to give the gift back to Jesus, and in essence, it's receiving the gift of Jesus and turning your heart back to Him. And so, as our family wakes up on Christmas morning, this is the first thing we do. We gather around the fireplace, we pull it off the fireplace, and I love that it's so tiny because it really does get forgotten on the mantelpiece, and I kind of love that because the little poem, which maybe Linda, you can link it in the show notes or something. But it says that something about the stocking gets forgotten, and so I like that when we put it up, everyone kind of remembers it for a couple of days, but it does get forgotten, and it's this great reminder that it can get so hectic in this Christmas season that we forget about Jesus. And so we pull it out, and then we all give our gifts to Jesus, and it's become a tradition that is almost like a New Year's resolution. We pick a word or a phrase of a gift that we're giving back to God, but instead it's something that we're working on our hearts, and we review the years past, which is probably my favorite part is seeing. I went ahead and peeked at my daughter's from last year, and she said she was giving the gift of confidence. And I'm going to get choked up talking about this because I'm not sure she consciously remembers that that was her word, but how many times it has come up as a theme for her this year. And she said, I'm going to have confidence. I'm going to choose to be confident in this moment. And I'm so excited for her to open this on Christmas morning and to remember that that was something that she was working on this year. And so all those little things help just turn our hearts back to God and help us stay focused on what's really important.
Thank you for sharing that. Oh, you touched my heart with the white stocking. We still have ours too, and it's such a powerful, beautiful reminder every season. But thank you for all those practical ideas. So my next question for you is, okay, you're getting ready, you feel the holiday season coming. Like, how do you prepare your kids? Like, do you sit down and talk to your kids before the holiday even gets here to kind of get prepared? Or what's kind of the process you guys use to get ready and enter the season well?
Our family has a rhythm of family meetings throughout the year. And sometimes that doesn't look very pretty. Oh, we try to do family meetings on a more regular basis when we're not in chaos mode. But especially before holidays or before birthdays for anybody, for Mother's Day and Father's Day, before the school year starts, any of these transition times, but especially now, we do sit our kids down as a group, and then sometimes, depending on the season, with each individual child or just one or two individual kiddos. And we just talk about what to prepare. We have one kiddo who is really triggered by I don't want to have surprises. I don't want things unknown. And part of it is this kiddo doesn't want to hurt anyone else's feelings. And so particularly presents that they don't know, they don't want to have a reaction of I'm disappointed and hurt someone, which is so much pressure on this kiddo. And so we've just openly said, is this a type of, usually it's connected to a bigger family Christmas, not usually in our house, but when we go visit other people. Is this the type of situation where you want to be prepared, or is this the type of situation you want to be surprised? And it always surprises me that this kiddo doesn't always have a consistent answer. Sometimes they like being surprised, and sometimes they want to know ahead. And honestly, sorry, grandparents out there, we've told them their presents at different times in their lives because that helps them relax, helps them prepare, helps them be able to go, okay, thank you. I know I can just take that pressure off my shoulders.
Wow.
And in other seasons, it's been, we're not really sure. But at the end of the day, a present isn't about what you get. A present is about that individual took the time and energy to think about you and to let you know they loved you through this gift. And that's what God wants us to hear, is that He loved us so much. And so you can always turn back and say, thank you for thinking of me. And so in our talks, we give tools like that, like how to set good and healthy boundaries for themselves, how to connect with others, hard to connect with. And then another thing that we've equipped our kiddos with, especially as we've had an older youth come into our home, there's a language barrier. And our families are really excited to meet this individual. And there's a lot of questions, and it's very exhausting to try to translate everything in your head or to use a translator. And so we've given that individual, along with everyone else, but particularly her, just a code word to be able to use. And it's a question that she can just ask us, and we know it means, I need a break. And so it just gives us this little out to go, oh, let me help you. Let's go find that together. And we go find something, and it's just our moment to go, let's breathe. There's no pressure. You don't have to, continue in a situation where you feel so uncomfortable that it's harming you emotionally. And again, that balance, we give them the words of, you can always say, I don't really want to talk about this right now, or I think I'm done, thank you. And in our family, we only say it 3 times. We say it once nicely, we say it second time firmly, and the third time we ask for help. And that's, in our family, that's just the way that we do it between each other, sibling to sibling. We ask nicely once, can you please stop poking that into my hair? I said, stop, Mom, I need help. And so we equip them with some of those tools, and it's just those reminders and those conversations preparing before any holiday. Here's your tools, and we've got your back, and we believe the best in you.
Wow. That is so fantastic. Those tools. And you know what I love about that is you're going into the season and you're preparing yourself and your kids that it's not about if we have tough times or if we have a meltdown or if we tap out, it's the when, because we all know it's going to happen at some point. Well, every month of life, but particularly during December, during this holiday season. So how amazing to equip them beforehand. That's just so wise. It shows your wisdom as parents. Chris, a little follow-up. What is your perspective on the flexibility and the proactivity that's required to parent in this way during the season?
I laugh because Liz is such a connection with our kids. She supports them. And we always say, and I truly believe this is just her God-given gift to just recognize our kids, meet them where they are at, and just support them. I'm not always the best at that. And so I just really love her for what she does and supports our kids in that way. We will be in chaos mode, and she somehow can calm the storm around our kids, pull them out. We only have 5 minutes left, and she somehow makes 10 minutes out of it. It seemed like 10 minutes, not makes 10 minutes out of it. Seems like 10 minutes of just peace and quiet for that individual that is literally lid flipped, out of control. And she just has this gift to just listen to them, meet them where they're at, meet their needs, or not meet their needs, but give them that comfort to work on their own needs. And so I just really value that. I honor that, and I support her in all those things. As a dad, I just want to reaffirm our rules in our house. And it's a hard balance, but at the same time, Liz just brings a softness to that firm balance. And like Liz said, some of our kids need firm boundaries, but we can do love and respect within those firm boundaries. And that's just really a key to Liz's gift, is just making sure that those are done efficiently, but also loving. And it's just really amazing to watch.
Again, Linda, I feel like Chris is super gracious, and I appreciate him. He makes me feel like a rock star. But it is not a one-sided thing, for sure. When I am focusing on a kiddo, Chris is holding the whole family together, and he's going, high protein snack. Who needs a high protein snack? And he's making sure everyone else goes, it's okay to have big feelings in this house. And then afterwards, he's coming and checking on me. But it's exhausting when you have a kiddo having a physical meltdown. There is somebody throwing themselves on the floor for 30 minutes, screaming horrible things at you. That's exhausting. And when I can give my all there, I can, because I know Chris comes and has my back at the end of it too. Or I can tap out and he can come in and support that kiddo, or we can give them a safe place to have their feelings while both of us take a step back. But it's that partnership that makes it so valuable. I'm so grateful to do this with another God-fearing man, and just parent from two different perspectives and two different backgrounds. It is not one-sided. We are definitely in a good team for that reason, and not perfect. many times we do not do it well. But learning from that and coming back together and apologizing to one another, apologizing to our kids, asking for forgiveness. Those are the things that I think makes our family go, we move on, we get better, we learn, we heal because of those moments too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you both for sharing that, because I pray that that's a blessing to people who listen to this episode, because it was a beautiful sharing of what it looks like to actually partner, that power of teamwork, the unique role of a mom versus a dad, or even just based on personality or skill set. So thank you for being vulnerable and for sharing that. And what a beautiful affirmation you each did for each other there. Thank you guys both so much. You shared a lot of amazing insight in a fairly short amount of time. It's a great reminder to all of us, though, that, man, no matter the makeup or the origin of our family, to avoid letting the holiday expectations take control of our priorities during the season. Whether those expectations come from our childhood, comparisons to other families through TV commercials, social media. You have described so beautifully, so well, and so practically how to have us stay in charge by setting our priorities based on our values and the unique needs of all the members of our family. And what an amazing opportunity to build something new and beautiful, but not perfect, along the way. So that's all for this week. We look forward to being with you next month as we discuss the power of story with author and our dear friend of Finally Home, Dick Foth. Hey, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notified when we publish a new video. We'll be live each month here at the Family Journey Show, as well as we'll be sharing lots of additional resources in between that you won't want to miss out. Happy holidays.
Becoming a foster, adoptive, or kinship caregiver is exciting and scary all at the same time. There is no way of fully knowing what personality the child or children will have, or what trauma they have experienced. Finding the resources to help you navigate the day-to-day challenges can be tricky. This is where Resilient Roots comes in. This annual membership is the toolbox you need to support whole family strengthening. You'll have access to on-demand videos from our trauma-informed, research-based curriculum that teaches each member of your family how to speak up, listen, and cooperate. By building these foundational blocks of family communication, each family member will feel valued, heard, and truly understand their big emotions. Learn more by visiting finallyhome.net/resilient-roots. Use code FamilyJourneyShow for 50% off your first year.